Okay, we will have a moment of silent meditation and then pledge to the flag. Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning. It is December 4th. It is 10 o'clock. All three county commissioners here, and we have a packed house. That's exciting. So we'll move forward and have consents and approvals.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 15 exonerations, $345,741.50. Minutes for November 27th, 2019. Vouchers, General County Fund, $228,089.31. Plus severance, $3,000. 911 cash, $666.66. Chestnut Ridge Park, $1,167.60. Camp Muffley, $2,129.27. Mason-Dixon Park, $45.62. Assessor's valuation, $5,833.42. Purchasing card vouchers, General County Fund, $38,479.36. Chestnut Ridge Park, $473.23. Camp Muffley, $373.22. Mason-Dixon Park, $252. Voucher total of $280,509.69. Position vacancies for boards and authorities: Western Board of Zoning Appeals, the Mon County Planning Commission, Mon County Development Authority, Camp Muffley Advisory Board, the Abandoned and Dilapidated Enforcement Agency, Mon County Community Criminal Justice Board, and the Mason-Dixon Park Advisory Board. Fiduciary orders for December 4th, 2019, and we have statement of services for George Armistead, Fiduciary Commissioner.
Move for approval.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Pass it 3-0. Introduction of new employees, personal changes. Do we have any new employees?
Can carry
Oh,
this.
great. Good. Make somebody's holiday.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
It's my pleasure to present to you 4 new employees who started at the County Clerk's office on Monday, December 2nd. Bill Wiley, Joshua Ferguson, Susan Teeple, and Taylor Sebastian.
Move for approval.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Welcome.
Welcome to the
Thank
county.
you.
Thank you. Good holiday present for you.
Now the crowd will thin out.
Yeah. Yes, you may go. You don't have to stay for what's about to happen. Okay. Okay, we will now have comments from the public. This is not the public hearing for the annexation, but anyone can speak on any issue at this time. If you would come up, state your name, where you live, and feel free to address. And you have 4 minutes.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is James Giuliani. I live at 256 Prairie Avenue.
Morning.
And I've come here today to ask for your help. I've come here today to ask for your common sense. I've come here to ask for decency. That being said, I attended the City Council meeting last night, and Mr. Bloom did see it, and he was very nice to discuss it with me before the meeting today, and I think he has a fair understanding of my situation. My situation is this, and I showed him a map that says that there's a piece of property in question. The piece of property in question was part of a settlement, okay? It's part of a settlement that everybody's aware of, Forest Avenue, and how it went on and on. I'll just interject and then move forward, is that I never came to you commissioners and asked for any reduction in my taxes to the assessor, to you commissioners, on property that I couldn't use for the last 32 months. I didn't do that, okay? This is where I'm asking for common sense, logic, and decency. Is that I then couldn't use this property. I tell them I don't own this particular parcel. It was attached to another parcel. Instead of quit claiming, doing whatever, they go to the act of taking it to court, spending the city's money, my money, many people's money, wasting time. Well, on September 11th, the judge said, after tracing it back, is, yes, I believe that you have an interest in this property. That being said, the folks that had interest before were the church. They're exempt. 50 days later, the property got transferred to the city. The intention was that. I never saw anything between September 11th and that. So I don't know when it was actually entered, because the only thing that I set down was a closing October 31st when this was transferred to him. But I have no idea when this was actually transferred to me, because there's nothing from the city's lawyers, my lawyers, or anybody. That's my problem. But what's the problem for us all is that it now moved to the county in the tax situation. That's the problem now. We have a piece of property. This is off the tax rolls. Never going to be on the tax rolls again unless the city of Morgantown decides to put it back to private reuse, which they say they're not going to. They want green space. So that being said, the church owned it. It was exempt. Well, guess what? The church transferred me what they thought they were transferring me. I thought I was getting what I was getting. And parcel 125 wasn't any of it, okay? There's never been an assessment on this. In fact, my deed says, from the founding of West Virginia in 1863, to me, that is now when this deed has been, it's been off the records from that point in time. So now we have a situation where we have two things, and I believe they're in conflict. And I believe this is where common sense prevails. One of them says that you take the assessments of July 1st, 2019 in this case. What says on the documentation, your tax ticket, I can show it to you right now, no assessment. No assessment 2020-21, meaning that they're going to assess it at that point in time. So are we going to suggest that we're going to back tax it? We're going to go back and we're going to look at it and we're going to put an assessment on something that's never been assessed? And then we get to the craziness that even makes it more absurd. Because I understand that part of it. You got legal this, legal that. What plays the other? Because the state tax commissioner, to bring this forward, can go look back, the state tax commissioner can look back 10 years. Well, guess what? All depending on the information he's getting will be the decision he makes. But what really should come out of his tax commissioner, you don't really have a decision, because this thing was never taxed, it's never been assessed, and it was owned by this gentleman for 50 days. There's no question of that. The judge ordered it. So we get to the bottom line. You're saying, well, what are you here for? What's the problem? The problem is it's Christmas and the holidays. And as you all know, I don't have a lot of money, okay? That's everybody's problem. We're working with the homeless here. But my problem is this. They escrowed $7,500 for this. Now, the parcel that it was on that I'm suggesting and stand by, that it was already being assessed as the parcel 123, which it included it at that time, 1, 2, 3, et cetera, or it was nowhere, that's fine. But the assessment on that is $117 a year. Now, if that's the case, okay, 50 days would be a few dollars. If you would try to go back and you wanted to hold an escrow because there's the decision that, please let me finish, the decision.
What I'm going to ask
You're
is,
past the time.
I know
what I'm
that.
going to ask you to do, James. What specifically?
That's what I'm getting to. We're
Okay.
right to it.
Just right to
what
it,
I'm
yes.
right to it, which
Okay.
you know. What we're owed to is why was $7,500 escrowed? If you wanted to escrow $500 like you did on another parcel, and understand these parcels were not supposed to be closed until the clouds were removed. These are clouds on these titles. Now I understand the escrows, but to me it's still a cloud. So what I'm asking you all today is very simply is, if we know the parcel here, which I'm suggesting that it was already included on as a taxation, but no taxes have ever been paid on it or will be paid on it, is that please hold $500 if you want to.
Okay.
But give the city attorney, Steve Higgins, that advice that this is our expertise opinion from our assessors, that you're not going to be looking at a tax consequence larger than that. Therefore, instead of holding $7,500, they can hold the reasonable amount of $500. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That
Thank you
makes
so
it
much.
very clear. Thank you. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this time? Good morning. If you want to state your name and who you are and why you're here.
Good morning, Commission. My name is Jasleen Gandhi. This is my team.
My name is Haley. This is Nick. And this is Sam.
Hi.
And we are students at WVU. We are leadership students. With that being said, we were working on an action project this semester, and we had this issue that we were really focused on, which is the issue of environmental consciousness that has been taking national and global occurrence right now. So with that being said, I would like to inaugurate, in fact, today, after Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday, we would like to inaugurate Recycling Wednesdays starting today. And I would also like to give over this.
So our idea behind the 2-week green challenge is, well, we know that people are aware of a sustainability issue. We just kind of want to give them a path they can follow, sort of steps they can take in order to help that cause.
Okay.
We also have been placing these stickers on approval from the university. They say these come from trees, and they go on paper towel dispensers in restrooms and on napkin dispensers in restaurants and dining halls. And we will leave some here if you would like to continue passing them, and using them.
So the 2-week green challenge is tiny steps that every individual can take to monitor their carbon footprint. These are not any obnoxious steps. We're not asking you to go vegan overnight. We are asking you to do an audit on yourselves and see how you can contribute to this environmental challenge we are facing right now, and how that will be really, really important in the upcoming years for the upcoming generation. And with that being said, we also have this tiny self-assessment slip you could use anytime, any year. We will be sending out the digital copies all around. And we thank Commissioner Bloom for his recycling efforts. And with his help and support, we have been able to come up here today and talk about this green challenge. And we are really, really excited to see the entire Mon County participate in it. And as many people are aware of this, we would be really, really grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The way our procedures, we can't respond yet, but before the public hearing, I will ask if we can suspend the rules, so that way you don't have to stay for 2 hours
Okay.
for a response. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak at this public portion? Yes, that would be great. Yeah, give it to Ben. Ben's the key person. Okay, I'll ask again. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will close the comments from the public. I will ask if I can suspend the rules, just so we can discuss the 2 quick issues very quickly.
Move that we suspend the rules.
Second.
Properly moved in second. We're suspending the rules. If I'm getting correctly, and what I would like to say to James is, what he is requesting is that we inquire to the assessor the procedure, what happened, and give it back to us what was going on. And I think that's a legitimate request. So we know from the other side what they're saying, and then we can pass on that information to the city, if that's okay. Unless you-
Certainly, I don't have any problem with investigating the issue and
Yeah.
seeing where we can help. My thought process was, as we were listening to this, that this would be part of a regular BREE meeting.
Right. Well, and that's what, I guess, the problem is, I guess it has to be done now. I think we can just find out how it was assessed and why it was assessed before it even came in. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. Okay, so we will check on that. Okay. The second thing is, I really appreciate this 2-week green challenge, and I'll tell you the reason why I like it. When we first met, I mean, this is something realistically that personally can be done, and I really love number 11, host a junk email reduction party. I'll tell you, I think that is just really, really clever, and I think it's just some little things that you could do to help, and I don't know the others, but they came up with this idea, and I asked them to come before, and we could even put it on our website to just say what's going on. And I don't know if anyone else wanted to respond. It's just a really unique concept.
meat-free day.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wednesday, what did you call it again?
Recycling Wednesday.
Recycling Wednesday. So I think it was just a neat idea.
No, I appreciate you guys coming in.
Yeah.
As I was reading this, I was taking a drink of water, and I saw number 1, which I usually have a reusable cup, so I didn't bring it today, so that's why I'm using this. But no, it's pretty neat, and I appreciate your efforts, and I'd be willing to take part of this challenge.
And we have your email and so on, so we will keep them. We'd like you to keep them with us, and then I'd like to also post it on the Mon County Recycling granville.com, so we could put it on that page and then also keep a running count of what actually happened, a final solution. So thank you very much. Okay. With that, we will move on. Grants. There we are. On the right side this time. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning.
You're quite welcome.
I have 2 grant contracts that need to be signed. The first one is for the Emergency Management Performance Grant. They've been awarded $115,911. So you have the contract to sign and then the lobbying department suspension one. And then the second one is for the Appalachia High Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Grant. It's for the Sheriff's Department. They've been awarded $36,000, and you'll need to sign the sub-award agreement and the sub-award conditions.
Move for approval?
Second.
Papa moves in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, number 7, public hearing regarding proposed annexation application submitted by the town of Granville. Let me explain generally the process, and then we'll start the process. Basically, the person who is initiating the request will be able to present and give information. Then we will allow anyone who wants to speak in favor of that to come up and explain why they're in favor of it. When that's done, we will ask anyone who is opposed to it to get up and explain, and then the presenter then gets the chance to respond. And that is how we're going to run the meeting. I'm asking, there is no time limit hypothetically, but to help everyone, I think 4 to 5 minutes at the most is really, if you can't say it in 4 minutes, then you're just going to reiterate. Now, again, your presentation doesn't have to be 4 minutes because you're making the presentation. So at this time, I would ask those from Granville who are planning to speak to get up and explain what you were asking for. Good morning.
Good morning,
And if you state
Commissioners.
your name and just so we have it for the record.
Patricia Lewis. I live at 915 Sayre Street in Granville. I'm also the mayor of Granville. I want to thank the Commission, first of all, for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the town of Granville, asking the Commission to vote in favor of a minor boundary adjustment that we presented to you for consideration. The town feels we've met all the requirements set forth in West Virginia Code 8-6-5 for annexation by minor boundary adjustment. The primary reason for this request is to allow our police, fire, street, code, and office staff to travel within the municipal limits. And I think Granville is unique in that because I think we're the only municipality in the county that is unable to do that through no fault of our own. There's no interest on the part of Granville to annex any residences or businesses, as we are not seeking to make this boundary adjustment for any financial gain of any kind. Fire Chief Renner will address our interest in housing a multi-agency training center that will benefit and be available for use for all of Monongalia County. I spoke to Joe Statler, or I was in touch with Joe Statler, and I think that perhaps he has expressed his approval and interest in that to either one or all of you as well. Police Chief Corcoran will elaborate on the benefit of the police department handling calls in the area that we already travel, freeing up state and county agencies. The DOH has given their approval, and a copy of that letter was sent to the commissioners earlier this year with our original petition. We have provided the commission with the updated metes and bounds that you requested, along with a detailed map. Again, I want to stress the fact that there are no residential or business properties included in this boundary adjustment, only the Granville Volunteer Fire Department property, which is on Route 19. We respectfully ask the commission to consider this request, and I will let the fire chief, police chief speak now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I approach real
Oh,
quick?
sure. We're formally informal.
Just along for your information.
Okay.
It's
Thank
actually a training facility. This is just where we run calls, paid staff out of the town. So what, Butch Renner, Granville Fire Department, I'm chief down there. Granville Fire Department has 11 paid staff divided into 3 crews, 24/7, 365, plus the volunteers. There is no training facility for first responders in Mon County. If the annexation is approved, we'll be able to start working, making Station 2 at 507 Squatch Run Road there along 19 a training facility which will benefit Mon County. The training facility is only possible with the assistance of the town of Granville. On the volunteer side, there's no way we can afford it. All fire, police, EMS, and Public Works can use it for confined space training. When they go in manholes, stuff like that, they're required. We'll be able to use this facility free of charge. Now, here's where it helps everybody too, is with this training facility in Mon County, all fire departments, all, Morgantown, all the county fire departments will get extra credit on their ISO ratings. Once they get ISO rated and they get the extra credit, they get a better score. Once they get the better score, that lowers the insurance cost for businesses and residents of Mon County. Looking towards the future too, we can actually transform that into a substation for police and fire without having to purchase property or build a facility to house it. And also, we've been working with Safe Communities, and they will use this 3.5 acres down there, so we could let them use the back part of that field and stuff to work with other businesses and build them little miniature stores and stuff to where they bring bank tellers in and people ask about, what you do, and, so they get an idea of the different job opportunities, plus riding bikes and stuff like that. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor? Phil, if you state your name and...
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Craig Corcoran, Chief of Police in Granville. And as Mayor Lewis stated, the annexation benefits the public safety for multiple reasons. But unfortunately, some may view it as a revenue-generating effort by the town of Granville. Granville has often been baselessly and falsely accused of being a speed trap, which is simply untrue. As of yesterday, the department's officers have initiated 711 traffic stops in 2019. Of those 711 traffic stops, 273, 38%, have been cleared by citation, 434, 61%, have been cleared by warning, and 2 have been cleared by arrest. As of yesterday, there have been 337 days in 2019, which equals approximately 2 traffic stops per day in Granville. That meets my definition of a speed trap. I offer those statistics to reassure this commission and the public that the purpose of this annexation is not revenue related via traffic law enforcement efforts, but to increase the safety for the public who travel these roadways. Our officers are often already in the area of these roadways when emergencies occur because of Granville's already existing proximity to them. So response time to emergencies such as crashes, motorist assist could be minimal and alleviate some of the burden of the county and state resources. In closing, I hope you grasp the town of Granville's sincere intentions for annexing these roadways. Granville's first responders and street department are very capable of securing and maintaining these roadways and eager to meet the challenge of increasing the public safety in these areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this annexation? Okay. Cool. Seeing none, we now will call on those who may be opposed to the request. If you would come up and state your name and please state the reasons why, we would be appreciative. Who would like to come first? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Adkins. I'm an attorney here in Morgantown with the firm of Jackson Kelly. I'm speaking on behalf today of Kenny Jackson,
Okay.
who owns and operates Main Sanitation that is located on Ladybug Lane in Osage. Mr. Jackson has spoke with the city of Granville, and they've been gracious in their communications about the potential effects of this annexation on his business. He's a small business, and he's very concerned that it would somehow affect or prohibit continuing to provide solid waste management collection in the future. When we reviewed the application for annexation repeatedly, and I heard the mayor confirm this morning, it's not to affect any residential properties or any commercial properties. But the West Virginia Code is very specific as to what has to go into an application for annexation when you're seeking a minor boundary adjustment. And two of those requirements is that there has to be a statement set forth in the application that speaks about who's going to provide fire protection, who's going to provide law enforcement, but also specifically it talks about solid waste collection. And then in provision number 4 in the West Virginia Code, it talks about there must be a statement of impact of the annexation on any private solid waste collection service or public service district currently doing business in the territory being affected by the annexation. There's no such statement in the application. So Mr. Jackson, I won't say affirmatively opposes. What we're here to seek is clarification and get those statements included in the application for annexation, because the statements are wonderful about that it doesn't affect residential properties and it doesn't affect commercial properties. But there's an ambiguity there, and there is the ability for different interpretations going forward in the future. And that type of ambiguity or lack of an express statement is what keeps Mr. Jackson, a small business owner, awake at night about the security of his business. So what Mr. Jackson wants is clarification in the application that's required by our West Virginia Code, specifically stating that this annexation will have no impact on the current solid waste collection provider, being Maine Sanitation, in the territory that's being affected by the annexation. And just an express statement that the town of Granville does not intend to provide those services or in any way try to RFP out those services, but that Mr. Jackson can continue with reliability that this annexation is not going to impact his business. Thank you for hearing us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Very clear. Thank you. Is there someone else who would like to speak? No one else is willing to get up? Okay.
Hi, I'm Joseph Sessa. I bought a house in Osage. My only concern is, why would you build a fire department training center in a flood zone? That's it.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Okay, so no. Okay, I'll ask one more time, because I want to make sure we give everyone the opportunity. Okay. Would Granville like to respond to any of the concerns?
I'll just briefly respond if I
Sure.
may.
That'd be fine.
I do understand Mr. Jackson's concern about his sanitation business. He and his wife both visited our office before, and I believe our city attorney as well has spoken to their city attorney. Granville currently doesn't pick up trash even at the University Town Center because we don't have the capability to do that. And so that's done by private sanitation, and that's never been an issue. So I don't know if that would be, I'm going to say reassuring, but to let him know we have no intention of extending our service that we only do to our residents, because that's all we're capable of doing. Okay. As far as the flood zone goes, the fire chief just told me that the only part of that property in the flood zone is from the Quonset hut up to Route 19, and I'm sure...
From the Quonset hut to the creek.
To the creek. I'm sorry. I apologize. I misstated that. But as you all, I'm sure, are aware of, we do have someone on our staff that is not knowledgeable about floodplain, and it is possible to do some things in a flood zone if you do them correctly, and we would certainly do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I want to read exactly what can happen, what will happen next. After all the evidence has been submitted to the commission, we will close participation for discussion prior to taking any action. But we have the right to ask questions of either the applicant, the staff, or persons in the audience pertaining to the matter under consideration. So I will close the actual hearing part of it and see if either of the commissioners have any questions before we would take any sort of action.
Well, just to clarify, this is all part of the public hearing.
Yes, part of the public hearing, it's just
So
no input from, yeah.
we could ask for clarifications.
Yes.
If we're asking questions, we can ask for clarifications from the individuals. So I have a couple questions.
Sure,
that
go
I'd
ahead.
like to ask. Now, I know it says multiple times in the application that it will affect no businesses or residents. But there does seem to be some properties that are owned by individuals that are in this area. Have you taken that into account? We asked our assessor's office to take a look at the map. And as you're aware, we went back and forth a couple times in regards to getting the correct meets and bounds that match the map that we are being provided. In that, it looks in some areas, most of it, as you stated, is in public right of way, but there are some individual businesses. While they're LLCs and an individual that owns some property in those areas. Were you aware of that, and have you contacted those individuals to discuss their views on whether they would want to be annexed?
I was not aware of that, and Dave Sharp okay, maybe you can help me with that map.
We could share with you this map if you'd
Okay.
like to see.
Yes. I'll take a look at that. Okay.
With a list of the, let's see which one they were looking at.
There's about 10 properties.
Well, there's actually 3 properties that are owned by Here's,
Okay.
if you look at this, sir.
Oh, that's better, yes.
That's from our assessor's office. If you look at this area, the ones in yellow were questioned. And when we did research, most of them are part of the statement. There were 3 that were owned by individuals. And I don't know if that was an oversight or whether you were aware of that.
I'm not familiar with this. This is the one parcel that belongs to John Lynch that I think he wanted us to take. And I am not familiar with this piece of property at all, so I don't know if the description is incorrect.
Show that 78. Must be one of these little ones right here. I think that, I mean, it was our intention, we followed what is the written description from the Department of Highways.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I would question is whether or not these are included within the Department of Highways right away.
Okay. Well,
That would be my
I
question.
guess my question is, since I know you're not going to be prepared to answer that here, this is, you'd have to do some detailed analysis to
Sure.
take a look at that. But if, in regard to that question, if you could provide some feedback.
It's our intention to follow the Division of Highways right away and not include the personal, private properties along that section of roadway.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
If you want to take that map with you,
Okay, great.
and that too, go ahead.
You can have that.
That would be
Meets and-
fun.
The meets and bounds would have to be changed again.
The meets and bounds might have to
Yeah,
be changed,
so-
and that's what we have to figure out.
And you can determine that.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So I'm just going to find my notes.
Yeah.
Mayor Lewis, you didn't get a chance, you didn't talk very much about your guys' relationship with the Department of Highways, which you did mention in your application in regards to the impact on this area in the care of the roads. Would you like, would you like the opportunity to talk about that?
Ron Snyder initially talked to the Department of Highways. He was supposed to be here with us today, even though he's no longer employed with us. He's retired. But I think the letter was clear that we would take over the electric the cost of the lights on Chaplin and there at Sheets, and that there would be no B&O tax collected for any construction ever in that area if that was in our jurisdiction. And I think those were the only two things that he had discussed with Department of Highways.
The letter speaks to benefit, of you guys, a relationship between you and Department of Highways in regards to like ice removal and snow removal. Is that anything that's formalized or?
Is it documented?
Only in the letter. Only in the letter from the DOH.
Okay.
That's all the documentation I have.
Well, as mentioned, I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about those benefits if, and how that would occur. Like in one area, it says that, if called upon by DOH, if there was some formal MOU or something that was developed between the city and the Department of Highways.
There is nothing in writing, but it's probably similar to what we do now. If they give us coal patch, we go out and try to patch some potholes for them. We use our manpower, our trucks. Even now when we, on the way to the town center, if we go via the interstate on Dents Run, which is not ours to maintain, or Route 100, we're usually throwing salt, but I do not have something in writing formally from them, no.
I mean, you have a good working relationship with the Department of Highways. You're only a mayor for so long, your council's on a council for so long, different councils come in, and that may change, but in regards to formalizing, so I would encourage to formalize some sort of MOU that would document, who does what, and to that regard, just for everybody. You don't want to, right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and a road not be covered because DOH thinks you're doing it and you're under some different assumption.
Okay.
So that was just a comment I wanted to make, because you did mention that a few times in your application. So, but you didn't bring it up when you're talking about it, so I want to give you that opportunity. I think that's. In your first responders are here. I'm assuming that, your argument in regards to being able to respond to accidents or issues, right now you can't respond, but I don't want the public to think that if you were driving by and if an accident occurred, the state statute protects you from responding to that incident, and I would like you to reaffirm to the public that regardless of whether it's jurisdiction, you would respond if there was an accident.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have mutual aid stuff like that, so even, that we're not going to deny.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't want someone to garner from that you're going to ride by because you can't. And the applications that people don't understand why you can't respond. Well, in an accident, you're going to respond like any other first responder, regardless of where their jurisdiction is.
Yeah, because see, a lot of times though, we're responding in the areas that's not covered.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've got paid staff down there for hours, could be hours like coal truck rent or something like that, taking them up. So the guys are already there.
Okay.
It's just that, maybe it might help down the road if somebody gets hurt lawyer-wise. Well, they're not in the city limit,
People like Miss Atkins.
Yeah.
Which I know Wendy's a very capable lawyer, so you want to have her on your side. One other thing you mentioned in regards to having the training facility here in the county, that it would lower increase. Could you explain that? Increase the ISO rating for all fire departments in the area?
All fire departments. What it is right now we have when you do a firefighter 1, that's a 126-hour class that you put people through. Well, then there's a day that they have to go to Clarksburg to the VOTEC down there, because that's the only burn building we have in this area that's closed. So now you're actually taking, if I got guys that's got to go down there for their day for their burn training, and you take a truck, now you're taking resources 2 counties away. So if something happens in their area, that their resources are in Clarksburg. At least here too, if you have that in county, then everybody's right here, they can respond from there. And then the ISO rating is since it's in the county, that's one of the first things when ISO comes in and asks you is, do you have a training facility? Because you get big points for that. And then they rate you from 10 being the worst to a 1. And like Morgantown just got rated to a 2, we're a 3, you know, and then the other departments are some 4, 5, 6, 8. So when they get rated by ISO and they come in and say, you have a training facility in the county and stuff like, yeah, we have one down there on 507 Scotts Run Road. It's a county-wide training facility. And they say, oh, okay, so they give you a bunch of credit for that. That drops there. So and they went from a 7 down to a 4. Well, then that's where you see your insurance decrease because of the lower. It's the lower the score you have, the better off you're rated. That means, you know, the more supplies, the training, everything you have to offer people.
I understand, but, and you're talking about a lower of the rating, and you don't know what that lowering would be.
No, because they come in and they check MUB. When they rate you, they check the 911 center. They check with MUB on water flow, stuff like that. They check all your rating. They go through all your trucks with all your equipment, all your water that you first have on scene. Like we run the county tanker, you know. And that's another good thing is that county tanker, there's 24/7. I've got guys there, so no matter where at in this county that they call for that tanker, it's guaranteed it's getting out the door. Unless it's broke down, I've got guys there staffed to run it. So it'll go anywhere in this county with paid staff. It's never, you know, they'll never be denied that.
Well,
But
I just have one more question, and I'll let you guys go. And this one's probably for the mayor. And Mayor, I have to ask this question. This annexation isn't a phase of any future planned annexation?
No.
Okay. I have to ask. I mean, I know that's the first thing you look at is, okay, so is this part one of a phase where once we have this, then it makes it easier to annex these other areas? You don't have any, the council doesn't have any current plans?
Discussion in our council of that, never.
Okay. Thank you very much.
a lot of things too on this is it'll save a lot of confusion between departments. You know, whether the PD or the sheriff's department, you know, because you get a call at the University Town Center intersection. And then they get there and it's on University Town Center Drive. Well, now Granville PD's got to come, you know, and the sheriff's office leaves, or they'll get a call that it's on University Town Center Drive. You get down there, it's on Chaplin. So it's confusion too. That's the big thing. And you,
yes, as you know, I represent the commission attending the firemen's meeting. I can't recall any. Now I obviously don't get to every meeting, but I can't recall whether there was a discussion at this level, a resolution passed by the Volunteer Firemen's Association in support of what you're presenting.
it would have been, when we done it, I mentioned it at Company 23 Westover. I don't think he was there, but it was brung up then, and that would have been.
Was there a resolution?
No, we just told them that it's probably in the minutes of the meeting, but it wouldn't have been.
I would think you would want their support rather than just statement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we throwed it out there and told them at that meeting. So it's probably in the minutes that the training, about the training facility. Now, of course, we can't even get them to run fires hardly anymore. You can't get volunteers and stuff like that. It's bad. And this is another thing, too. I don't know if you guys remember, but when that training facility was on Mon Boulevard, we would be over there training, and you would actually see people parked along the road watching. And then they would get, oh man, maybe I'll try that. So that even actually helps recruitment, because if we get down there training and see that them younger kids and stuff, we're like, hey, maybe I'd like to try that and get involved. But now, the last time I've had somebody come and ask for an application on the volunteer side, I'll guarantee you it's been 6 or 8 months, and and it's only getting worse. To get the trucks out the door.
Do you have any? Okay. I have a couple questions right for you. Just for clarification, so if you're going to be, will you be charging other fire departments for this training?
No, we don't charge nobody.
Okay, I didn't know. So I want to get that cleared.
Probably, 2007, so about 2007, 2008, we would bill for wrecks, and that was just for reimbursement on hazardous, or.
No, I'm talking about for training though.
No, no.
Okay, that's all,
everything's free,
so
yeah,
that way I want that resolved.
I mean, now, if
Yeah.
they do a training, they'll pay for the instructor and stuff
Right.
like that. I mean, we might not even be involved in it other
Okay.
than
You're
giving them
just
the
using
key to the facility.
Okay. I need a clarification because I'm still confused. You said that Granville has to, okay, could you explain to me why Granville can't just put the money into that building and do it without being annexed? That's what I don't understand.
I can answer that.
Yeah, okay. That's a question that I've been asked numerous times, and I didn't know how to answer that. Could you explain it to the public?
Well,
Because I don't know how to answer that question.
no, that's fine. First, I think you have to understand the concept of having a combined department. So we have a combination department. The volunteer company, they own their building, they own their trucks. We pay to put staff in there 24 hours a day to respond to calls because of the lack of volunteers and the responsibility we have at Town Center. The building that they have in Osage is not in our city limits. And so to get grant money, like you can't use grant money on leased property or property that's not within your municipal limits, just like hotel motel tax. That money has to be spent within your corporate limits. So if we can move our paid staff down there for training or to use that facility even as a substation, then you can at least let taxpayers know, we're investing money in something that is not outside of our jurisdiction.
Okay. The only question that I have is, how does the city of Morgantown able to put money into the Ruby Center at Milan Park, and it's outside the city limits?
I have no idea.
Neither do I. That's
I
why.
can't
That's the question
answer that.
people.
I don't know what
Okay.
kind of funds they are. I don't know what kind of situation that is. I just know
That's something that seems to be a question that's come up. But okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I do want to submit this. We just received this, and I want you to. I apologize that I'm going to read it into the record and then see if you want to respond to it, because this is from the town of Star City. Dear Commissioners Bloom, Hawkins, and Sikora. Let's see what it is. The council and I would like to make you aware of our disapproval of the new round of annexation requests by minor boundary adjustments by the town of Granville. You may not be aware, but in the past, Granville crossed Star City boundaries when they moved their city limits along the road parallel to the river under the Star City Bridge. We have a map from the courthouse that shows that the town of Star City owns to the northern side of the Mon River up to a point of the high water mark, and believe that Granville has falsely infringed upon Star City corporate limits. Whether by their own doing or by previous commissioners allowing the minor boundary adjustment to be approved, this has created many questions about the accuracy of the corporate limits of the town of Granville, as well as our own town. Basically, we feel that the town has been landlocked, which makes it nearly impossible for us to extend our boundaries across the bridge. Our council and I believe that Granville is only pursuing this minor boundary adjustment in an attempt to bring in Sheetz, McDonald's, the Expressway Car Wash, and the multiple other businesses in that area that are not currently within their town limits. We as elected officials believe that this is unfair to our town economy. In addition, I personally believe that Granville has more than enough revenue with the current and planned business development area of the University Town Center. Therefore, we respectfully request that the Commission not allow the town of Granville to continue with the minor boundary adjustment that is currently underway, and please consider review of the boundaries along the Mon River where a discrepancy in the corporate limits for Granville and Star City may exist. Regards, Herman B. Reed, Mayor. And I only read this, we are not on either side, but this we just received. Are either of you two wanting to respond to any of the comments that are made? Because again, I apologize, but this
That's
just
fine. I
came in.
understand. My only response to that would be that we had looked at that before. I'm certain that Potesta worked with the courthouse to look at, the meets and bounds going down on Route 100. I thought that was all resolved. That was the last, was my understanding, was all of that was resolved, as far as the maps here at the courthouse and our descriptions that we've provided.
Yeah.
There was, remember a long time ago, when they did the first annexation, it included the town center. They went up Scotts Run Road to the first bridge, and they stopped, that's where it stopped. And this is where this takes off and starts, and goes up Scotts Run and then around that way. And then I think actually at that time, there was, shortly after that, then Star City tried to come across, and they actually went to took it to court or something, trying to come over. And the judge ruled that Granville goes to the heavens. I mean, that's because your line goes, and they went down Route 100, which the high water mark isn't, it's up on the bank. It ain't on the road. So when they went down, they went down the road, and actually the railroad tracks.
And I'll make you a copy of this for your record, because we, again, we just received this, and we did feel that we should put this in the record.
A couple years ago, if you remember, he did come in and actually speak to that. But like I said, I know we've worked a couple years on doing that research, and I thought that was all cleared up and on record here in the map room.
Okay.
Well, my express concern, and I'll be blunt, is that obviously this is a commission that is elected. You are a group that are elected, council and mayor, and despite what is said today, I see that the map encompasses properties that a council in the future could sit and say, well, if this annexation is granted here, let's go for this. And there's no way that, no matter what you say about your intent, and I know there's no way you can give an assurance, just as I cannot give an assurance as to what would happen with this commission in the future. And the outlining of these specific properties in 3 areas, to me, does not give me great comfort.
Okay. Sean, do you have anything final? One more just question. Could you please explain to the public, when we have levies, there seems to be a confusion of how you separate, which I have no problem with, the volunteer and the paid, because people ask, well, why isn't Morgantown in the same boat? Could you just explain that, of how that works?
Okay.
Thank you.
And
This is
I may have to have you.
I appreciate this, because this is
Okay.
important for the levy, too.
Well, it is. Like I said, we are a combination department.
Right.
What the town of Granville has done is made that volunteer department a combination department, and we pay to man those trucks in that station 24/7. The volunteer side is the one that benefits from the levy money. The only thing we do is we pay for staff. We pay the staff, we pay the staff's insurance, we pay the workers' comp for the paid staff, and utilities for that building. The building, the trucks, all belong to the volunteers. I know we've been blasted recently really bad on social media, which I do not do social media, but some of my employees have been kind enough to share it with me, about Granville having all these new trucks. Well, Granville doesn't have any new trucks, and any equipment that they do have, the volunteers work for that. It comes from levy money. They do fundraisers. They do their own thing. We just man that station with some paid staff to guarantee the businesses at the town center and our residents that they have someone on call 24/7. And that's the same thing with our police department, too. We don't have any new police cruisers either. Everybody thinks we do.
But that's like say every piece of equipment down there, them trucks and stuff, that ladder truck right now, it's paid for, thank goodness, but every inch it was paid for by bingo. That's why if you look on the side of that truck, it says, "Thank you, bingo players and ladies auxiliary." Now, I've got another engine sitting down there with $450,000 just for the truck. That's not counting the equipment that I'm paying on right now. Well, between state money that we get and the levy money and bingo money, I make a $14,000 every quarter payment on it. Not counting, I have to pay all the utilities down there on that Osage building, and even with its annex, the volunteer side is still gonna have to pay that, and we still owe like 119, I could pull it up and give you exact on that. Let's see, yep, 1120, that was the last one. Osage building, we still owe $111,000 and $111,183 on that building. That building was total, yeah, Consol give it to us for $1, but when we renovated it, they stuck $406,000 in it. Not counting the engine, we still owe, that 2014, we still owe $334,591 on. Not counting workers' comp we're paying for the volunteer side. You know, I just spent $13,000 on 15 air bottles because all 56 of my air bottles went out 1st of December. I've got 56 air bottles down there that's 15 years old that I got to throw in the garbage. So
just so I understand, this is news to me. So the equipment and the buildings of all your fire support in Granville is paid for by the volunteer fire departments. The city just covers labor.
They pay insurance on the paid staff. They pay the utilities on that building that the paid staff's at, because volunteers would not be there 24/7. So right. And they pay the staff. Other than that, the volunteers, we work bingo every Monday night, you know, and we take the levy money, the state money, and bingo money to pay our bills and help buy equipment. Now, the town will allot some money for equipment, and
volunteer sign, we donate.
Yeah, they donate.
We donate to volunteer sign every year.
Every year. So I took last year because I knew the air bottles was going bad, and I was planning on a grant which we got denied, which you know that's normal. But the town actually, with that volunteer side money that they granted us, I bought 30 air bottles. So that was like $24,000. So I've got 48 air bottles now to replace the 56. And I couldn't get. Yeah. We had some extra sitting on the shelf, and I thought, that's too much money to sit on the shelf. I just get enough for the trucks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enlightening.
Did that clarify that?
Yes, in fact, I'm probably going to say something that's going to probably get me in trouble, but I would strongly recommend that clarification be sent to the city of Morgantown, because there's a lot of confusion there. And I think the city council members need to understand why you get a levy for the volunteers and not. I think that would really be beneficial for you. Now I'm going to say that. I have 3 more weeks to say things like that.
Who would that letter need to go to?
I would recommend you send it to every city council member. That's all I'm going to say. That'll get me in trouble. So with that, now, what would you like to do from now?
Well, consistent with the way we've handled annexation requests in the past, we will take everything that was provided, garnered today in today's hearing, and we'll work through that with probably a work session or 2, and then we'll issue a formal public order.
Okay.
Still need to get a clarification from Potestal on those properties.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll need some feedback.
And we'll accept that clarification.
So I can't promise when that will occur. I think the last time we had hearings in July, and we issued an order in August, the end of August. So, but yes, if we can get that clarification, that will.
We would accept that, yes.
Yeah, if it's okay, I will also respond to the clarification on the Route 100 concern.
That would be really helpful.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I don't know that I can resolve the question, because that was actually previously identified in a previous.
And I think also the MOU being in a written form with the Department of Highways.
Yeah. Okay. So we will now refer this for clarification to a work session taking the data and
based
also
on what we
waiting,
get the
also receiving that information from you all. Okay, is everyone, do we need a motion on that, or can we just,
No, not
all three of us agree?
Yep.
All three of us, okay. Okay, now I will close the entire hearing. Thank you very much for your input.
Thank you.
Do we have any correspondence?
No.
Okay. Oh, could we?
I can send it to her.
Okay, we'll send you a copy of this so you have a copy of the letter, because I think you need to have that letter. Okay. Unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business?
No, sir.
Moving to new business, to consider for approval requisition number 22 for the Morgantown Industrial Park Series 2017A Project Fund.
The request is for $123,205.67, and that money will be paid to Stone Paving in the amount of $83,205.67, and Adrian Enterprises in the amount of $40,000.
Move for approval?
Second.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consideration to appoint a commissioner to the Greater Morgantown Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors.
They sent this letter, we read it into the record last week. Right now, Commissioner Bloom is sitting on the CVB for the county commission as an elected official, and it's a one-year term with no term limits. They would need to know as soon as possible if the commission's wishes would be for him to continue serving.
Are you willing to continue to serve?
I would like to, yes.
Okay. I know, this is one that I will publicly state that I
Yes.
It did pain me to give up this appointment to Tom, because I really believe in recreation. I really believe in but he's been a very good member. The reason I had to give this up just simply was my mother required care that I would have to be there till 8 o'clock in the morning, and
That's
the
right.
board met before then. So I would respectfully move that Tom be reappointed to the board.
Move for approval? Second?
Second. You
Sorry,
move-
that's unfair.
move- Yeah, that's all right. Move for approval. All say aye.
Second.
Aye. I'll abstain just in case someone complains that
No,
I said it.
I don't think there's a problem.
Which,
with that.
okay. To consider for approval a contract extension and addendum for STS Consulting LLC in connection with completion and adoption of the draft subdivision and land development ordinance.
Your planner is here if you would like him to speak on it.
Do you want, Andrew, would you, suspend the
a
rules?
quick
A quick just
summation
synopsis
of-
why, what we're doing.
Please.
And explain CAP.
So, as you see in the letter in front of you, the work that we've been doing on the subdivision ordinance, the original contract was basically a polishing up of a form of subdivision. We have been modifying it to be more adapted to the county, taking into account feedback from the public and feedback from developers. And in that process, we have extended the amount of work that has been done by the consultants, so they're asking for the extension. We've doubled the length of the documents that they've been reviewing. And then there is, since we are doing something that is new for West Virginia, trying to come up with an adapted road standard, they have also offered to work on that, but there's a cap on that, and that will be decided in a very detailed way how much that would be as a function of what's going to be done. But they put a cap on that to kind of bound that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move for approval?
Second.
Proper moves in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consideration to modify the county commission meeting schedule for the remainder of December 2019.
As you know, Christmas and New Year's Day are both on Wednesdays. And since we are closed, that obviously affects your meeting schedule. So my suggestion would be to cancel the meeting the week of Christmas and then move the January 1 meeting to January 2nd.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. I would move that we cancel the meeting scheduled for 12/25 and move the regularly scheduled meeting for 1/1 to 1/2/2020, regular time, 10 o'clock.
Second.
Proper moves in second. All those in favor say aye.
Can I ask the county clerk if she foresees any issues with that?
Hold on.
Oh, there was a caveat. And let's go ahead and approve that, and then I'll say my caveat.
Okay, motion, so all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Now,
I also move that I will make myself available to do the requisitions as needed the week of the 25th and the week of the 1st.
That's fine, but we also have final settlements for the 1st of the month that we have been assigning on January the 8th in anticipation that that was the first Wednesday meeting.
Okay.
So if we move to a Thursday, which is not a regular scheduled day, then we're going to need to reassign all of those final settlements.
why can't we just not keep it at the 8th? Or is it state law that
Okay.
says it has to be the first meeting?
No, if that's your pleasure. Typically, we do final settlements the first regular meeting
Right.
of the month.
But we could do it on the 8th because there wouldn't be a problem with there.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So my second motion was I will make myself available the week of the 23rd or 1st to keep in line with the regular requisition schedule to approve any vouchers that
And
may
I
be
will
approved.
second that you work.
Properly moved in second, we do appreciate that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, consider for approval an additional position for the Mon County Planning Commission.
Move for approval with discussion.
Second.
Properly moved in second.
Bill, Andrew, can ask that you both come up. This position was brought to us a while back. It was a proposal that the Planning Commission and in conjunction, the Planning Office, in conjunction with the MMPO, both needed help. So we were going to, they proposed that we allow them to hire another position. We went back and forth as to where that position would be, whether it be an MMPO employee or it would be a county employee. I believe we settled on it to be a MMPO employee, but the county would pay for our part of the use of that individual, which I believe is initially estimated to be about 25% and could flex based off of the subdivision regulations and if those go into effect. Have I relayed that accurately?
That is correct. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. So that was the proposal that so our motion is to go ahead and allow the position to be posted and move forward in the hiring process for that individual.
That's correct.
We've voted this one in second.
Any discussion?
No.
Okay, so it's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Opposed. Okay, passes 2-1.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other new business items?
Nope,
Okay.
that is all.
Do we have any reports from elected officials? None? Okay, Sean, you may go first.
Obviously, with the Thanksgiving holiday, it's been a short week for meetings, so my report will also be short. This week on Tuesday, we had our extension building meeting. Also, yesterday afternoon, I was asked to be a guest lecturer at a school public health project management class on the application of PM principles, project management principles in my workplace. So my workplace is two individual workplaces where I support the Department of Energy, where the use of project management professionals is very high. The the federal government has placed a high priority on having certified project management individuals supporting their projects. So I have a lot of experience of that, but also my experience in coming and working for the county and applying some project management principles to what we do here at the county. So I had fun doing it, and I get credit for continuing education. So today we have regular business. Tomorrow I have a MAP Executive Committee meeting, and we have the Farm Bureau Christmas dinner at our new extension building. So that sounds like the first major event that we're having at the extension building. Friday, I'll be attending on behalf of the commission a human trafficking 101 class that's going to be put on by the health department, and I forget the agency that was doing it for the health department, but Dr. Smith extended that invitation to us. And it has a lot to do with our current drug epidemic, which I never really gave that a consideration, but the use of human trafficking is very prevalent, and getting individuals for individuals that are involved in our whole opioid issue. So I'm interested to go listen and hear what they have to talk about. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Last Thursday was Thanksgiving. It was my privilege to work and volunteer at Wesley United Methodist Church for their community Thanksgiving dinner. I got to deliver meals to first responders first, to the varying departments, and after that I served as a mashed potato server. It was a very good day. It was very rewarding. I'd like to thank Karen Kelly King for coming in, making us aware of this program, and giving me the opportunity to volunteer. As Sean said, Tuesday we did have our meeting at the new Extension Services and 4-H Center at Milan Park, and I will also be in attendance tomorrow for the Farm Bureau Christmas dinner. Monday I'll be in Preston County. There's a Trails meeting that I'll be attending on behalf of Commission, and I believe on Tuesday we have our MAP legislative breakfast.
Oh, great.
And we'll have that meeting and then a ribbon cutting at the shack. So looks like a full week coming up too.
Good. I have a very short one too. First, our last partner on Pantry Plus More was MTech, and I personally want to thank the principal and the business maintenance class. They have been building shelves for a number of our pantries and built some amazing shelving for our program over in our supply room, and I want to thank them for that. Second, I believe it was just announced today on the radio, so I want to make sure that we announce it here, that at the last CVB meeting, it was publicly stated, and we were informed that at this time there will not be a Mountain Fest for 1 year. That it is on hold, and that I am requesting, come January, that we just have a meeting with the executive staff of the CVB to explain what's going on. But I just wanted you to be aware of it since it hit the newspaper or the radio today. And finally, I attended yesterday a meeting with Umbra Board, MAP organizers, Morgantown North Rotary, and the colonel of the
Army Corps of Engineers.
Thank you, Corps of Engineers. And it was really a very enlightening meeting. He is 100% trying to keep the locks and dams open. He saw the kind of progress we're making and what we were making even before. You know, there's a lot of decisions being made, and we're going to continue working with them and continue trying to keep the locks and dams open. He sees the economic value not only for business but also recreational, and he was also pleased, and I want to state, he was extremely pleased when I announced about the state DOH and the River Road, and he asked me for some other roads that go into some places that maybe we can fix. But he was real pleased that we're working together with them. So it was a very positive meeting, and I want to give Barry Pillay kudos. He really had all the information in a row, and it's really done a great job for us, and I do appreciate that.
You stated there might be some shortfalls.
We'll talk about that at a later time. Yes.
Move to adjourn,
Yes.
then.
Yes.
Second.
Well, thank you. Move second. All those in favor say yes.
Aye.
Aye. We be gone.